If you followed any of my draft work from the 2024 cycle, you know that I believed Alex Sarr was the best prospect in the draft. In fact, I believe he was one of two blue chip level prospects alongside Ron Holland in a relatively weak draft compared to some others recently and how some future draft classes project to be. The reason I thought that Sarr was the best prospect in the draft was because I believed that he had the most game-changing upside of any prospect in the draft. He had the most rare traits of any prospect in the class. So, how has the second overall pick been through his first few NBA games? It's been up and down to say the least, which the numbers and the tape both show. And in this video, I want to talk about Alex Sarr, the good and the bad, as well as his outlook as a long-term prospect. But before we go any further, if you're new and like basketball, I'd really appreciate if you would like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, notified whenever I release a video. If you enjoy basketball, I really think you're going to enjoy my content, and doing all those things are the best way to let YouTube, and more importantly, me know that you enjoy the content, so I can make more of it in the future. Anyways, let's talk about Alex Sarr. Alex Sarr has struggled offensively to start his rookie season, and that's putting it lightly. Through 6 games, he's averaging 9.8 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, and 1.7 assists per game on 36.2, 20.7, 78.6 splits, and a 46.1 true shooting percentage. That efficiency would be really bad if he was a guard, let alone a big. Now, part of this is his lack of physicality. He's only shooting 58.8% at the rim on 2.8 attempts per game. From an efficiency standpoint and more importantly a volume standpoint, that's not really good. Now, the physicality was something that was a question mark with Sarr entering the NBA. He is still developing physically. In fact, I had more questions about his physicality and how he's going to have to translate entering the NBA than I did with Wemby, Chet, and Mobley, who also had those questions entering the NBA. Is this a long-term concern? I don't think it is. While I'm not a doctor and I can't tell the future, I do think his frame suggests he can add more functional strength to it. I've seen guys enter the NBA with similar looking frames and they put on the weight. He's at 205 pounds right now, and that's the same weight as 6'2" point guard Scoot Henderson. But I wouldn't be shocked if he gets to 230, maybe 240, and is still able to maintain his movement skills. He wouldn't be the first rookie big to have to adjust physically. Now, the other area that has led to his inefficiency is his shot selection, and that is something that's more concerning as of right now. He's taking a lot of threes. In fact, it accounts for exactly 50% of his volume, and he's had many games where he's taking more threes than twos, which would be fine if we were talking about Zachary Reese, who just had a great game, mind you, shout out to him. But like I talked about with Wemby, a big shouldn't be taking that many threes compared to twos, especially when the gap is noticeable between rim attempts and three-point attempts. Now, I will admit that I didn't bring this up as much as I probably should have in the Wembanyama video, but I'll bring it up here because I think it applies to both players. Part of this is that the team is telling them to take threes and are running plays to have them fade to the 3-point line. And while I'm not in the building, I'm not at practice with these guys, I'm not talking to coaching staffs, I think the fact that he's not getting pulled from games for shot selection reasons is an indicator that the Wizards are likely telling him to shoot it as much as he has. However, like I mentioned in the previous video, I do believe that with bigs, the foundation should start where they're more efficient at, which is closer to the basket, and they should branch out from there, not the other way around. But we will see as the season goes along. With all that being said, I do see upside with Sarr as a scorer. He has rare movement skills at his size. He's explosive, he's quick and fast for his height. He's an incredible lateral mover. His movement skills have the fluidity of a wing. And there's some really intriguing flashes. He's shown capability handling the basketball. He's had some grab and goes off the glass. He's shown some on-ball creation flashes. and he's shown upside as a shooter. It still has a long way to go, but his willingness and touch are positive indicators. Now, despite these flashes, he still is pretty raw in terms of top level prospects that I've evaluated recently. He's not as polished as Wemby, Chet, Paulo, or even Mobley entering the NBA. And I don't know if we were talking about a player that is going to be a 25 plus point per game scorer or someone that's the focal point of your offense as a go-to guy, but I do see real scoring upside at the same time. I think as he gets stronger, he will be more effective at the traditional big stuff, and I think the potential for him to grow and develop those flashes as a handler and perimeter threat are there, but I don't know if he'll reach the heights you look for in a main option. Regardless though, I do think he has potential to be a really good offensive player in terms of his scoring. I also see some playmaking upside as well. I don't know if he'll ever be a hub playmaker like Jokic, Sengun, Sabonis, or Bam. I don't think he has the upside of a Victor Wembanyama or to an extent Chet Holmgren as a passer, but he has some plays where the vision is very good. He can make the basic reads. I think he could expand that to some even more advanced reads, even if I don't think it's something you want him doing all the time. And I see a world where he's a positive playmaker, even if he's never got at averaging 6 to 8 plus assists per game. I see potential for a guy that makes reads off the roll, makes that extra pass, can play a connecting role, and I think he could be what Rob Williams has proven to be when he's healthy. And similar upside to guys like Lively and Duran as passers. High end, I think a Mobley type of passer is what we're looking at. Someone who has more of an impact as a playmaker than the 2 to 3 assists per game suggests. And I think if he expands on a few things, that could be 4 to 5, but realistically, it's probably closer to 2 to 3 long term, which is still really good. And again, the number won't show the full impact of his playmaking. Being able to make those basic in-the-flow reads as a passer can be just as valuable as advantage creation at times. And I think that's what Sarr can do, which combined with his scoring upside does give him a pretty high ceiling as an offensive player. Now, in terms of the offense, there are questions, there are ups and downs. He's very volatile. Defensively, he has been a monster in terms of the upside he's shown so far. While he's not perfect by any means, as most rookies aren't, even Victor Wembanyama wasn't perfect defensively as a rookie, there are some incredible flashes of high-end defensive ability with Sarr. At 7 feet tall with a 7-foot wingspan, he has unreal movement skills that give him a ton of ground coverage. He's averaging 2.8 blocks per game in his first 6 games, and at the time of me recording this video, he's had at least 2 blocks in every game he's played so far. While blocks don't paint the full picture of defensive impact, for a rookie, it's impressive regardless of context to be this productive as a shot blocker out the gate. And it's not like he's just camping out in the paint either. He's been impressive as a weak side help blocker, he's blocking shots at the point of attack on drives, he's being a disruptive defender in the PNR, and it goes beyond shot blocking as well. While he's not perfect, he is a versatile defender due to his rare movement skills at his height. He can defend drives on forwards and wings, he can hold his own on a guard switch, he can contest a jumper as well. He's not perfect, I'm not saying he is, he will need to get stronger, and he does have his rookie mistakes, but I've been really impressed by what I've seen from Sarr defensively as a rookie. We've seen a lot of great rookie defenders recently, and while I don't know if he's quite on the level of Wemby, Chet, or Mobley when they were rookies defensively, he's not as far behind those guys as you would think. And I think his upside is arguably up there with at least 2 of those names. And if he gets stronger and continues to develop, barring health, there's no reason Sarr can't be one of the best defensive players in the NBA one day. Alex Sarr has been the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of the NBA to start his rookie season. Defensively, he's Dr. Jekyll. He's not perfect, but he's been mostly consistent, has been stable, and shown what we expected. Offensively, he's been Mr. Hyde, inconsistent, wild with the shot selection, and very unpredictable. In many ways, it reminds me of watching Anthony Richardson play quarterback. You'll see these high-end plays, but you also have these moments where you're pinching the bridge of your nose, wondering what he was thinking. But I do believe my stance on him as a prospect has held so far. I do believe he's shown the most upside of any rookie in the NBA up to this point. Now, has he been the best rookie? No, I think Zach Edey's been better, and I don't even think that he's been the best rookie on the Wizards so far. I think that's been Bob Carrington, who's had a great start to the season. But when you look at Sarr, you see the road movement skills, the defensive versatility, and the offensive flashes. And I think there's legit star to fringe all-NBA upside here. I think when you combine what he could be offensively based off the flashes with his all-defensive team upside, the possibility he could be fringe all-NBA good is within the realm of possibility in my opinion. Now, it isn't a guarantee. He has a long way to go to reach those kind of heights, but I do think he has a relatively high floor, even if the numbers don't suggest it, because the efficiency has just been that bad. But I think at worst, he's somebody that has his offense minimized to a low usage role and is in your rotation because he can run the rim in transition and be good defensively. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is he gets stronger and is highly effective at the basic big stuff on offense, has enough shooting to stretch the floor, has a good enough handle to grab and go and make some on-ball plays as a secondary option, make good reads as a passer, and be elite defensively. I think his ceiling as a player is similar to what Evan Mobley's ceiling is, and I'll be the first to admit I've been critical of Mobley relative to some of the expectations people have put on him, but he's still an incredible player who is having a great start to this season. Now, Mobley was more polished than Sarr entering the NBA by a decent margin, although it should be noted that he was a year older than Sarr when he entered the NBA. But I see similar ceiling projections with both players: 18 to 20 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 3 to 4 assists per game, 2+ blocks per game, all defensibility. But while I think that's the basic outline of it, I think they are different. I think Sarr has more offensive upside because I think he's just naturally a more aggressive offensive player. But I think Mobley has higher end defensive upside because of the fact that his feel for the game on defense is a bit higher. But regardless, I think if Sarr hits his ceiling, he's around where I think Mobley will be as a player. Now, only time will tell, and Sarr has to develop, but that's the joy of rookies. They are far from finished products, even the elite ones. I'm excited to see how Sarr develops as a player. I think he has a ton of upside, and it's weird to say because of how bad this team has been and how poorly they've been run for most of my time on YouTube, but I'm excited about the Wizards and their future. With guys like Alex Sarr, Bilal Coulibaly, Bob Carrington, Kaishan George, Jordan Poole looks like he's getting his groove back, and they likely will have a high pick in a loaded draft class in 2025. And while only time will tell with how everything works out, the pieces are there, and I can't believe I'm saying this, look out for the Wizards in the near future. I think they're going to make some noise. But that's the end of this video for me at this point. Thank you so much. Again, haven't already, like, subscribe, hit notification bell, I'm notified whenever I release a video. I make videos about basketball, and if you enjoy basketball, I really think you're going to enjoy my content. And doing all those things are the best way to let YouTube, and again, more importantly, me, know that you enjoy the content so I can make more of it in the future. Let me know what you think about Alex Sarr. Has he been up to expectations? Has he been below? Has he exceeded? What do you think of his game? How good do you think he could be? What do you think of this 2024 rookie class? It hasn't been great, but I think that it's starting to pick up. Let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comment section below. But with that being said, have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.